I got some tea to spill, so if you're ready to chill, take a Jill pill.
Hey, welcome back. It's Jill. Let's take a Jill pill. Episode 6. We're rolling. And I know I said today I was going to talk a lot about cults, and I'm going to talk a little bit about cults. But something came up, and I do have my first guest today. The Take a Jill Pill guest premiere debut, if you will. And it's a very special guest to me. You may know her, you may not, but we'll get to that. The reason that I have a guest unexpectedly is I ended up last week hopping down to Nashville for a couple nights. I've had to cancel my last couple trips down there just because of stuff going on at home. And so I planned a last minute little trip and it was very quick. And I had my first guest who is 5 years old. And if you know me, you know she's very important to me. And I know a lot of people expected my first guest to be, someone maybe different, but I thought we'd just sort of wade into the guest. And actually, this is my favorite guest ever, probably. But we'll get to her little interview a little bit later. And we'll talk about other stuff today. She's not going to be, a 5-year-old doesn't really have the attention span to do like a full length episode, So we'll just have a little fun with it. And then we'll move my cult episode to next week because I've decided which cult I am going to get into. I'm not going to get into a cult, guys. I'm going to talk about a cult. But I keep saying it like that and it sounds like I do think anyone could fall prey to a cult. You know what I mean? Because there's a few things that I will talk about that I think it could happen to anyone, okay? It doesn't have to be like a religious cult even, So we'll get there. But anyway, I hope everyone had a good week. Thank you seriously, last week, I got so many responses to that episode of me talking about, I talked about a lot of things, boy bands and things, but most of the responses were about the ambiguous grief, the stuff I talked about with my mom, with the grief and just navigating that. And so you guys are so kind and I don't know. It's just such a great little community that I have here and I'm really grateful for it. So thank you for that. And a lot of you shared with me what you're going through, which it's a lot. Everyone's going through a lot, guys. So hang in there. You know what I mean? It's tough. You're doing great. And I don't know, I don't know what else we'll get into. I feel like there will be moments on this podcast where we'll probably get into some more serious life stuff because that's just kind of how I roll. I want to be honest about it and talk about stuff, but I also do want to have a lot of fun. So hopefully we're having a good little balance of that. All right, let me give you a little overview of today's show and then we'll get rolling. We're going to talk a little bit about people pleasing and I'm going to tell you a couple little stories that happened from my trip to Nashville and just little ranty, you know my little ranty stories. And then I am going to talk a little bit about cults and set you up for the next episode next week about the cult that I'm going to talk about, which I promise I really will do that next time. I don't want to be like the girl who cried wolf and was like, next week I'm talking about this. But when my little tiny little guest wanted to be a guest on my podcast, how could I say no to that? How could I turn down that opportunity? It was the opportunity of a lifetime. And I hope you love it. Anyway, we will also obviously do our top 5. We're going to go with top 5 forms of potatoes, which was a request today. I have so many requests for top 5s, guys, from all of you. I feel like I have I don't know how many, but I could do top 5s. I could do top 5s forever, honestly. So top 5 forms of potato, which is going to be a good one. Riveting, as you know. And then listener questions, a couple good ones, and a little special daily dose of the Jill Pill today. So let's go. Somebody asked me about this in a message, and I'm going to talk about it. They asked if I stand up for myself in a restaurant and send something back if it's not good, or do you just go with it? And really, are you a people pleaser? Are you kind of no, it's totally fine. Everything's good. And if you have one guess, I think you probably know I'm the latter. I'm oh no, totally. It's burned and it's not what I ordered. And I'm no, this looks great. I love this. And it's there's always, this is what I think about that. I think you need friendships or relationships or groups where at least one of the people is going to be the person who will send it back. My best friend, if I get an order wrong will always be like, no, she didn't order that, and I'll be like, no, I did actually. No, it's fine. Because I don't want anyone to feel bad. They're already doing hard work, and she's like, no, you ordered it, you paid for it. And it is true. Like, I can see both sides, but which one are you? Are you the person who is like, no, it's fine, I'll just drink this or eat this, it's not a big deal? Or are you the person who's like, no, I ordered it, I paid for it, I'm going to get what I ordered? I see both sides. Like, I really do. I think you tend to lean one way or another. And I think both types of people need to be existing at like in a relationship or in a group, So that's my thought on that. And I'd love to hear which one you are, because I know you're one or the other. I should put up a poll and you can vote. Because us introverts or people pleasers or whatever you want to call us, the people who just go with it, we do need the other half, we do need those people who will advocate for us. And then there are times where I do feel like the opposite is true. Have you seen that meme that's like, why doesn't anyone ever tell extroverts, like they tell introverts to like come out of their comfort zone and like speak up, but no one ever tells extroverts to like shut up and be quiet for a minute. I think that's kind of funny, because I do think sometimes there is a line of like, if it's not a big deal, just don't send it back, like whatever, and you might disagree with me on that, but sometimes it's like, just let it go. It's fine. That being said, I was in an Uber the other night. I had to Uber to the airport in Nashville and it was late. And this guy picked me up. Uber's so weird, guys, when you really think about it. I don't really mind Ubering, like as a concept. It's easy to just not have to think about how you're going to get a ride. You just like call one up and not call it, but you know what I mean? Order one up and then it's there and it picks you up and takes you where you want to go. But it's some stranger rando person. And most of the time I actually have fine interactions with Uber drivers. My preference is that they just say like, hey, how's it going? Did you have a good trip? Great. Let me know if you need anything. Done. There's a little bit of banter, not really banter, but like a conversation that's like, I'm a normal person, but then I'm not going to talk to you the whole time, There's also the people that just don't say anything to you. And that makes me a little uncomfortable too, because it's like, at least say, hi, I'm George, and do you need any water? Or, I don't know, whatever. Just like give me something, and then don't talk to me the whole time. There's a balance. There's a perfect balance there. And some people do it really well. Anyway, I had this Uber driver pick me up. His name, I'm not going to say his name. And I get in the car and it was so hot. It was so hot. And I run hot anyway, especially in cars. It's just like, keep it cool. If I'm sleeping or if I'm in a car, just keep me cool, So, and like you're going to the airport. So you're about to like be on a plane and hot probably on there for 3 hours or whatever in an airport. And you just want to be comfortable on the way. So anyway, he starts talking to me and he's like, where are you headed and this and that. And he's like, if you get uncomfortable at all at any point, let me know. I was burning up and I was like, oh yeah, I'm a little warm, but I'm not too warm. That's what I said. Quotable, quote that. I'm a little warm, but not too warm. And he was like, oh, I like it warm, so I keep it warm. And I was like, oh, that's great. Yeah. I mean, I'm sweating my butt off in the back seat. And I'm like, no, it's great. Yeah. Warm is great. Like he's like, you must be cold blooded from the north. And I was like, yep, I guess so. I can't breathe. Like freaking turn the air on for me, buddy. And he was like, anyway, that's fine. I should have said, no, I'm burning up, bud. I'm not going to tell you. I want to say his name, but I feel like when I told you Riley's name at Trader Joe's, then people started talking about it was her. That was the real name, and I don't want to give anyone away on here. So anyway, he starts chatting with me about the roads and how terrible they are. And he starts ranting about the salt and they erode the roads. And then there's all these potholes and stuff blows up and it chips your windshield. And he's going on and on and on and on. And I'm thinking like, he is ranting at me. And that's okay, because we all need to rant. Like, this is what I do on the podcast, right? Is like part of my whole thing is I rant, because you need to just get it out. And also it's nice when people are like, I know, right? My windshield chipped too. And isn't it a pain? And you just feel like misery loves company or whatever. But this guy was getting like anger issues and he's like behind the wheel, and I'm like, just stop, just get me there safely, please. He's getting like real heated and he's like, how are we ever going to get, I'm not going to get into what he was saying, but I just stopped responding. Like I went totally mute and he didn't stop talking at me. And so finally we get to the airport and I hadn't responded at all. I was just like, I can't anymore. Like I'm fine to banter a little bit, but at that point you're raging at me. And I'm like, all right, thanks for the ride. And he's like, sorry for chewing your ear out about this, but I just, it's just, and I'm like, no, it's fine. Of course it's fine. Like, yeah. And I just like, I don't know. I just felt like at that point, maybe I need to apologize to you guys for my rants because it can be a little aggressive, like me ranting about bright headlights and stuff. All of a sudden I had this moment of like, am I doing to people what he's doing to me? No, not really, but I'm trying to be funny. It was not funny. He was not a happy person really. And I still, though, as a people pleaser, I still gave him a good rating and a great tip, because as you know, I'm a sucker. I'm not going to, you know what? Everyone's going through it. You know what I mean? We're all doing the best we can. So I'm not going to, I'm always going to tip well, like, even if that's just one of my things. It's like, I can't really give a crappy tip to someone because I don't know. It's just like, but I do get annoyed if like I was literally at the liquor store the other day. I didn't see Big Papi, but because I was in Nashville, I don't think he was there. But anyway, I ran into the liquor store to just grab a bottle of tequila. My friend like pulled up and I just ran in and ran out. And I get to I put the tequila, I knew what I wanted. I put it up on the counter. I paid. I'm swiping the iPad thing. And it was like, how much do you want to tip? And I was like, what? It's not like you just made me a coffee or you made me a margarita. I literally bought the bottle off the shelf and like didn't even speak to you. And I'm supposed to give you a tip? I don't know. That's out of control. But if someone does deserve a tip, even if they kind of were not the best, I just am a sucker. I don't know. I feel bad because you know what? Whatever. Anyway, I don't know how I got there, but are you a people pleaser? Would you ask also for the temperature in the car to be changed? I should have because I was really miserable. So then I'm like, it's like, I'm hot, I'm sweating, it's late, I'm tired, he's raging, I'm nervous, the car, it's just like not a good situation. And I'm like, no, I'm doing great. Everything's great. Don't worry about ranting at me about politics. I love ranting about politics. I don't. Anyway, that was my little situation. And I don't know why people talk to me like they do. People just unload on me and I'm happy to be a listening ear, but am I? I don't know. No, I think I am. Not to that guy though. That was not my greatest Uber drive. Anyway, I did tell you I was going to talk about cults this week and I'm going to talk a little bit about it because I need to do a lot more prep also for this next episode about a particular cult that I'm going to talk about. This is a cult that is based in Nashville. And there have been documentaries, there have been podcasts, and it's sort of like, it's crazy, this cult, and it's called The Remnant. And it's like based on, I'm going to give you just like a little preview. And you can look into it if you want before next week, or you can just let me tell you about it and then I'll tell you which documentaries to watch and stuff. But if you don't know about it, because I wouldn't say it's one of like the most well-known cults in the world. It's a little niche, but to Nashville, but it did have like, I think it was like an HBO documentary. So it is well-known. You might've seen it, but it's called The Remnant. And there is a woman leader of this cult who did pass away. So spoiler alert, she's no longer with us. I don't think. She died in a plane crash, guys. So you never know, but it was based around like weight loss and Christianity, but like a weird form of it. There's a lot going on with it. And this cult is fascinating to me. My friends and I talk about it all the time. The place where the church is, when I lived in Nashville, I drove by it every single day. I mean, I drove by it a bunch of times this past week when I was there. It's the most beautiful church I've ever seen, to be honest with you, this place. But the whole situation is wild and crazy. And I have some like general stories about it. And then I have some inside scoop stories about it because, this cult lives among Brentwood, Tennessee, Nashville, Franklin, Brentwood, Tennessee, which is right where I lived and where all my friends live. So that's what we're going to talk about next week. I really don't want to give away more than that right now because I want to be able to talk about it more. But I just love cults, and I actually am very fascinated by cults led by women because there's actually a lot of them, and which you wouldn't. There's not a lot of them necessarily, but I feel like women do end up becoming leaders in cults, or they become like, there might be a guy leader, but then a woman becomes like the next in line and sort of becomes the cult leader. And I don't know why that is. I want to think more about that. So I'm going to talk about that next week, and I'm going to tell you a few encounters I've had with cults along the way. That's a little teaser. That's what they call a little teaser in the podcast world. So I promise we will get into that next week. But for now, guys, I do want to introduce you to my first guest on Take a Jill Pill. This is my goddaughter, Gigi. Okay. And this is my best friend's little girl. She's 5 years old. And we have a very unique and special relationship. A lot of you know this situation, but just for anyone who doesn't, a little over 5 years ago, my best friend Kate became a foster parent. And we were still doing music together, and we had a couple businesses we were running together. And I was kind of back and forth between New Hampshire and Nashville at that time. I would do like multiple weeks in Nashville and then be in New Hampshire and back and forth. So I was in Nashville for a few weeks, and she got a call for a foster placement for a little baby girl who was 1 week old. And that is like a whole story that Kate has told on our previous podcast, and I'll probably have her on and she'll share more about that. But that day, like, is when Gigi came. Little baby Gigi came to Kate's, and I was staying there with her. And so I got to just bond with this little sweet, precious little baby for the first few weeks that she was there. And then she ended up eventually adopting her. And so she's been with her ever since then. And this is like she's not my niece, but she basically is, because Kate and I are like sisters. And so I just am obsessed with Gigi. We're just best buds, and we've had a special bond. Ever since she came that night, we just have had a special little bond. And so she wants to have her own podcast with her best friend. But for now, she wanted to be a guest on. I asked her if she'd like to be a guest on my podcast, and she was very excited about that. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my goddaughter, Gigi. And this is our interview. I hope you enjoy it. And then after the interview, we will come back with top 5 forms of potatoes and listener questions. So here we go. Here's Gigi. Okay, I have a very special guest today for this podcast, my very first guest. What's your name?
Gigi.
How old are you?
5.
And who are you to me? Like, who am I to you? I'm your... No, not your grandma. Your
godmother.
Yeah, godmother. Do you know what this podcast is called? It's called Take a Jill Pill. Can you say that?
Take a Jill pill.
Yeah. What do you call me, though?
Jojo.
Yeah. Take a JoJo pill. Okay. Can you tell everybody, this is what I like to ask everybody, okay? Do you like Trader Joe's?
Yes.
What is your favorite snack from Trader Joe's?
The strawberry bars.
You came up with that so quickly. That's your favorite? Why do you like them?
Because the flavor in it tastes good.
Yeah.
And because it's strawberry flavor.
Yeah. Is that your favorite flavor? Okay, one other question.
Blueberry.
You like the blueberry too? I know, those are good. Okay, one other question for you. I like to talk and ask people about conspiracy theories. Do you know what that is? Okay, let's try something different for you a little bit. What is your favorite fairy tale? Or like your favorite thing to believe? Say it out loud.
Lion King.
The Lion King? What about it? What do you like to believe about it?
That they're real.
That they're real and they talk to each other and stuff? Who's your favorite character?
Simba.
Simba. What do you wear?
There's actually a show.
There is.
And his name is... They're actually the same.
Oh, so it is real? Really? Okay, I want to ask you a few other things, okay?
Okay.
What's your favorite color?
Red and blue and... What's that?
Silver?
Silver.
You like silver?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's cool.
What's your favorite candy?
M&M's.
Oh, yeah. Plain or peanut butter?
Peanut butter.
Me too, dude. That is our favorite together, isn't it?
I know.
I know.
I really like peanut butter.
Those are the best. Hey, okay, I have a question for you. Do you believe in aliens?
No.
You don't?
No.
Do you believe in angels?
Yeah.
No? Do you believe that we went to the moon?
No. Because we never been to the moon, silly Jojo.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of with you on that. What is your favorite thing to do when you come to New Hampshire?
Play in the ocean.
Yeah. One more question.
Okay, what?
What's your favorite kind of ice cream?
Chocolate mint.
Like mint chip? Mint chocolate chip?
Do you like that?
I love that. Do you like to come to New Hampshire and go to ice cream too with me?
Yes.
You need to come see me, don't
They
you?
have the best ice cream ever.
You heard it first, right from the mouths of babes.
And they have the best ice cream.
Yeah. So I come see you a lot, right?
Yes, and I come see you a lot.
Yeah. And we talk on FaceTime most mornings, right?
Yes.
Do you like doing that?
I was just gonna call you this morning.
You were gonna call me and then I was here. Isn't that crazy? I know. What's your favorite Jill and Kate song?
The Christmas one.
The Christmas one?
Yeah.
Christmas all year long. Can you do a little for us? You make it Christmas, baby. You are my favorite gift. How could I ask for more than this? Whoa. That's a good one. You like that one?
You make it Christmas, baby. You have it made good.
All my favorite. Yeah. I don't even know the words. What about, you know what other one you were singing to me this morning? Pop
Song stuck in your head, you can't get it out, you can't go to bed. Pop song stuck in your head, you can't get it out, can't go to bed.
Isn't that crazy that your mom and I have like music that we've recorded and then you know it all?
Yes, because my mom plays it for me.
I know, isn't that wild?
Mm-hmm.
Before you were even born, we were like making music together.
She's gonna flick you.
You're gonna flick me? Don't flick me. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes.
What?
What's your favorite picture?
My favorite picture? Probably a picture of you and me when you were a baby.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right when you first came and you were holding on to my finger, right?
Yeah.
What other questions do you have for me?
What's your favorite flower?
That's a good one. I like orange roses.
Me too.
You do? Do you have one more question for me?
Yeah.
And listener questions? Okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
What do you like when you spend time with others?
What do I like when I spend time with others? That's such a good question, Gigi. I like to just talk and like have good conversations. And I also like to play fun games.
Oh, watch.
She's going cross-eyed right now.
I like cross-eyed.
Are you listening to my answer, though?
Yes.
I like to do what with others? Stop. I like to play games and have good conversations.
That's what I just said.
I know. If somebody was having a hard time, like they were kind of sad or they were feeling down, what would you tell them?
Come play with me.
Come play with you? Because they will have fun. That's so nice.
Okay, can you please just stop this now?
Are we all done?
I want to hear it.
Okay. Do you want to say bye?
Bye.
Thanks for coming on my podcast. I loved having you.
Thank you.
I'll see you next time, okay?
Let's hear it.
She cracks me up. I love that girl so much. You know what? Little kids keep us like real. They keep us real. They keep us fun. They keep us young. Maybe parents might disagree with that, but she's just awesome. She brings a lot of joy into my life, and honored to have her as my first guest on Take a Jill Pill. So, all right, guys, rolling. We're rolling with guests now. Her mom will be a guest later this spring or summer. We've decided on that. So you can look forward to that episode as well, but working on other guests, guys. So keep me posted on who you'd like. All right. For the top 5 today, guys, we did have a submission for a top 5 jingle. I'm going to open it up. And so if you have one too, you can send it in and then we'll pick whatever one, or maybe we'll just use a different one every week. But here is a listener submitted jingle for introducing the top 5.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Top 5.
Thank you, Danny, for that. I love it. All right. I love the laugh at the end. It's like, that makes it perfect. All right, guys, top 5 today, forms of potatoes. Okay. I don't know. Sometimes I just laugh at the randomness of this show, but let's just go. Potatoes are great. And these are my top 5 versions of potatoes. Okay. Coming in at number 5, I'm going with solid mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes are a staple. They're so good if they're done right, which is why it's at number 5. Because having bad mashed potatoes, dry mashed potatoes, lumpy mashed potatoes, cold mashed potatoes can really ruin the whole experience. So I just don't think they're like the perfect form unless they're made. Like my dad makes really good mashed potatoes. And I know you all have like one person in your family, it might be you, who makes the best mashed potatoes, But there are some tricks like warm milk. You got to like beat them up with warm milk and a lot of butter. That's one trick. I don't know. I mean, some people like them more clumpy. That's not really my thing. I want a smooth mashed potato. Mashed potato. All right, that's number 5. Number 4, I'm going with sweet potatoes. I like sweet potatoes quite a bit. And I think there's a lot you can do. See, there's like different forms of potatoes. Then there's different forms of sweet potatoes. There's so much I don't know, guys. I'm nerding out on potatoes, but I do like sweet potatoes. Some people don't. I've talked about this before. I never grew up with sweet potatoes in my life. It wasn't a thing until I was like an adult. I don't like sweet potatoes with marshmallows. I don't like that whole vibe. I like a savory sweet potato, like a sweet potato if you cut them up and put them in the air fryer, like a hash brown. Those are really good. Or just, a baked sweet potato with butter. You can make a sweet potato boat. I will eat sweet potato for any meal. So that's coming in at number 4. I mean, you can get sick of them, but I think they're pretty good. And I think they're like pretty healthy for you, I guess. I don't know. All right. Number 3 is hash browns. Hash browns are just good. But here's the thing with hash browns that I will say. Like some people will order hash browns at a breakfast place and they're really home fries. Like hash browns are different than home fries to me. Okay. Hash browns are like the shredded and like real crispy, or a hash brown is like a McDonald's, like the square rectangle, I guess, hash brown patty. When those are really crispy, man, those are good. Actually, Trader Joe's has those and you fry them up in a little oil. And I'm just saying, but you gotta have if you don't have a crispy hash brown, it's kind of like how I said, if you have a clumpy mashed potato, it's ruined. You can't have like a soggy hash brown. And I don't like home fries. I'm not a big home fries. I don't want it, I don't want a soft home fry. That's me personally. I know some people prefer that. I'd prefer hash browns over home fries. Okay. This is so dumb. No, it's not dumb. It's really not. It's just like, I think sometimes I hear myself and I sound really intense talking about it. And I'm like, why do I sound so intense talking about like sweet potatoes or headlights, But I am who I am. Okay. Coming in at number 2. I went back and forth with 2 and 3, but number 2 is French fries for me. And again, this is the thing I'm learning about potatoes as I'm talking about it. There's a lot of ways to do them wrong. You know what I mean? Within the categories. Like French fries can be bad if they're not hot, if they're not crisp, if they're not salted right. But when they are, I do love a good French fry. You can't really beat that food. So number 2 is French fries. Oh, I went to In-N-Out while I was in Nashville. I hadn't been there in a while because they're only on the West Coast, and then they moved. Well, I guess they're in Texas too. They like slowly moved across the nation, but they're in Tennessee, and it's great. We went at 10:30 in the morning to make sure we could like not wait in a wicked long line. And anyway, I got animal style fries there, which now I will say those are kind of soggy, but they're on purpose. They're purposefully soggy kind of because they have all the stuff on top. So anyway, In-N-Out, good fries. Not my favorite fries, but decent. We could do a whole like top 5 French fries, so I'm not going to even get into that right now. All right, guys, what do you think that leaves as number 1? Because I feel like, I've covered a lot of potato things, and this is going to be a little out of left field. It's going to be a little unique. The number 1 form of potato is vodka, right? Because who doesn't, you might not like vodka, but it's crazy that vodka is just made of potatoes and you can just drink it and have a good time. So I was like, how do I not choose? Because it's hard to go like vodka. Yeah, you can have better versions of vodka, but like it's hard to mess up vodka like it is to mess up a hash brown or like a French fry. It's just vodka. So number 1, vodka, the number 1 form of potatoes. I like vodka. The thing is like vodka's a very kind of a safe liquor for me. I feel like tequila can get crazy. Gin, I don't like. It's too like medicinal. Whiskey, depends. Vodka just is pretty safe. It's clear. It's potatoes. So like, how can you feel bad about it? All right, there we go. I do want to do an honorable mention of a Trader Joe's product that is potato based. I didn't think they should make the top 5, but because they're from Trader Joe's, I thought I'd throw this in there. And they're the potato latkes. Am I saying that right? Latka? I think it is. It's like Latkes, latkes. Don't come at me with that. They're good. They're these little like basically potato pancake things that you fry them up with some eggs and like avocado. They're really good. So just want to throw that out there as this is a Trader Joe's podcast. Couldn't miss my opportunity. Also potato bread, like potato rolls, solid hamburger roll right there. Okay. Thank you guys for that potato suggestion. I had fun with that one. I feel like I like to mix it up. Boy bands, experiences. There are top 5 categories for days. And I never even planned on doing top 5 in this podcast. And now it's become sort of a staple. 6 episodes in, it's a staple. I don't know about that, but I like it. Hopefully you do. All right. I know Gigi asked me a couple of listener questions. And so I'm just going to do one today of a listener question and save some for next week. You can keep adding more, but here's one question that I thought was kind of interesting this week. What are the different jobs you've held? That's a good one, because I have held a lot of jobs, actually. Even though most of my adult life has been in music and entertainment and creative work, I was one of those kids where when I turned 14, in New Hampshire, you turn 14, you can get your working papers. And my parents drove me to the town hall and were like, you're getting your working papers. And actually, I started babysitting when I was like 10. So I was already working, but like legally working, they were like, you're getting a job. And I appreciate that actually about them, because I think that's a good quality. I think that's a good thing to learn as a kid, like responsibility and making your own money and having to go somewhere and actually do a job. I think that was a good skill to give me. But man, they were kind of hard. They weren't very strict at all, my parents, but that was one like, you will be doing this, So like I said, I started with babysitting. Then I also did takeout at this local restaurant, Ray's Seafood. I was in the takeout window for a lot of summers there. And actually, if you lived where I live, you either worked at Ray's Seafood or their competitor restaurant in town, because like that's what there were for jobs around here. So anyway, shout out Ray's Seafood. All right. I also did things like I worked at a call center for Kirby Vacuums. Do you guys remember that? I worked there for like 2 days. It was the worst experience. It was like random cold calling people to see if they wanted to have a carpet cleaning. And if you like got them to sign on, it was the worst job I ever had. It's like an introvert's nightmare. And the reason I quit is because you had all these cards that people would fill out at like the grocery store to win a raffle or something. And little did they know, they were just really filling it out so that we would get all their information so we could call and scam them. Basically, we're scamming these people, okay? And I'm going through the cards, calling, and everyone's just so mean to you and rejecting you. And I liked the idea of this job because I like could just be in a little office and not have to, like little introvert Jill was like, I don't have to really talk to people. Hello, you're calling people and you're making them mad and they're like yelling at you and hanging up on you. So anyway, I go through the cards, I'm calling all these people and I get to the next card and it was my grandfather. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And I quit that job. And my parents were pretty big on like, you can't just quit. But that one, they did let me when that happened. So they were awful. That was an awful job. I also cleaned offices at night. I did flower delivery, which was a terrible thing. You would think, oh, you're bringing people so much joy delivering flowers. Yeah, but you're delivering them to like basically most of the time people who have died. Well, people who have just had someone die. And you're like, flowers, and they're crying, you know, they're like, oh, that's not fun. That was a real challenge for me as well. I didn't love that one. And it was before we had iPhones. So like it's hard to find places and addresses. It was stressful. I didn't love that job. I was a camp counselor in summers, a basketball camp counselor. That was sort of another summer job I did. I worked at Macy's in the stock room. I learned a lot back there because there were some hardcore guys that worked back there, like tearing boxes down and stuff. And I feel like I cut my teeth on it was like pre-touring. It was sort of like touring, the type of people you meet touring in music, but just in a Macy's back storage room, you know? So I do feel like I got a little experience there. I did data entry, a lot of babysitting. And then I moved into more career stuff. Obviously, after college, I worked at a record label. I worked at a management firm. And then obviously I was a backup singer and musician. I taught songwriting and music business to college kids. I taught some private like voice and guitar lessons. And I nannied some even through like when we would be in lulls of music stuff, I would still nanny sometimes or babysit, I guess. So I've really had a lot of jobs, I think, but I think that's good. I think it's good to have a lot of different experiences, not just to see what you like to do, but also the challenges of like pushing you outside of your comfort zone, like calling your grandfather and asking if he'd like a carpet cleaning from Kirby Vacuums. Oh man, that job. I think about that job and I just get stressed out. I really am lucky that I ended up getting to actually work in music and in my creative field, and that I still get to do that because that's where I'm most comfortable. Like that's what I like to do the most. And so I do feel glad about that. But thank you for that question. You know, it's good to reminisce, and it's good to have a lot of different kinds of work. I really do think that. All right, guys, today's Jill Pill of the week. We're going to have a special edition because I wanted to ask Gigi what would her dose of the week be. So this is the Jill Pill of the week, but it's actually the Gigi Pill of the week. And it's really sweet and I love it. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a great week. We'll be back next week to talk about The Remnant, the cult in Nashville that, it's got some interesting storylines. All right. So stay tuned. And here's just a really quick note. After the end of the music on this episode, there's a little bonus material because Gigi's little brother, Ryland, wanted his moment in the sun here. So his moment to shine. It comes after the music, just a quick little tiny interview with Gigi's brother, my godson, Ryland. All right, here's Gigi with her Gigi Pill of the week. What do you have to say to everybody who's listening for this week? What would you say to them that are just some like encouraging words? This is called the Jill Pill dose of the week, but we're going to call it the Gigi Pill. So what would you say to everybody?
I would say I like everybody.
Yeah, that's so nice.
And I like my friends at school.
Yeah. And should everybody else be kind to everybody too?
Yeah.
Is that what we should try to do this week?
Yes.
I love that. Anything else you want to say? That's it?
That's it.
Can you say, be good,
Be good.
take a Jill Pill.
Take a Jill Pill.
Bye. Do you want to say hi to the podcast? Take your hand out of your mouth for a minute. Do you say hi podcast?
Hi, Papa.
Say take a Jill Pill.
Take a Jill.
Say my name's Rai Rai.
Pill.
How old are you? You're not 4. You're almost 3. Right? Yeah. Can you say I love you? Say take a Jill Pill. What's your favorite color? Yellow. What's your favorite food? This cake you're eating right now. Did we have a little birthday cake together? Okay. What's your favorite song?
Here I have it.
Jesus loves me with a mouthful of cake. That's so pretty. You say, have a great week.
Have a great week. Bye.